Canada, this country. I'm on holidays this week, so I am on location in Ontario. We have a northern cottage country, and we're at a cottage right now. And yeah, so what I thought I would do, since I can't do my usual studio live, is I'm going to be doing a little bit of plein air painting. Now, I haven't actually done this on my phone before, so hopefully I can do this. Hopefully I can figure this out, but let me see here if I can just flip my camera around and you can see this lovely lake that I'm at. All right. All right, so what I thought I would do here is I would try a little bit of plein air. And I just want to show you some of my kit first of all. So this is everything I need for plein air, right? That's it, all of it. I have covered myself in bug spray to begin with, but what I have here is a watercolor sketchbook. This is a Pentallic Aqua journal, and I also have a little viewfinder. I have, trying to do this with one hand here. I have this little handmade palette that I've done. This was actually made out of just an eyeshadow that I got from the dollar store. So I just filled it up with my tube colors, and I've got lots of colors there. I've got a mixing area over here, and my travel brushes. I just have two here. That's all I need. I don't want to go too crazy with it. And that's it. I guess I could have a pencil as well. I think I have that in my bag. So let me just grab a pencil if I can find it. I'm going to set this down for a moment so you can see the scene that I'll be doing. The one thing my tripod does not have is the ability to tilt. It's just a little thing that I brought with me. Of course, I didn't think about the tilting aspect, and I don't have a pencil with me. So I should have a pencil with me, but I do not. So I will simply just paint directly. So this little viewfinder, you could just use just a piece of cardboard, like a mat or something like that. And basically this is how it works, right? You look through, you find something that is going to look good. Now, the closer I get, the more I can include, right? I don't know how the camera's going to be focusing on that, but the further away I hold my arm, the more I can crop in on the subject that I've got. Yeah, so I will use that to compose my painting. And now this is a square format, this one, this viewfinder. My paper is not. My paper is a like a horizontal, right? So, or a rectangle. So you can close this little window here and compose it again, you know, that way. So that's the format that would be closer to what I'm going to be working here. All right, so holding that, I'm going to be holding this while I paint this scene. And of course I'm going to need some water. So I have a container for water. And I actually, you know, because I'm at a cottage, I have a larger container, but I have a really small one as well. I'm just going to use a bigger one so that I can keep it clean. And I'm just going to add some water. And you should always carry with you some water for hydration as well. I think that's really important. Bug spray and water for hydration. You also want to make sure you are wearing a hat. I happen to be blocked by the trees right now, so I'm okay in terms of the hat thing, but do protect your skin. You want to wear sunscreen and that sort of thing. You know, health and safety first, right? So I have a couple of, let me see if I can get these on camera. These are a couple of little travel brushes. Let's see if I can get that to focus. I have two sizes, a 10 and a 6, and I just simply pull them out and, and replace them like that, right? So that's my travel brush. It's a squirrel-hair brush called Biaelk, Biaelk. and it is squirrel hair, so I really like them. So since I don't have a pencil, I actually don't consider that to be a really big problem. I'm going to just start in the first page of this is a brand new sketchbook. Oh, one thing I have in the back of my sketchbook, this sketchbook has a little pocket in the back. So in the back I have paper towel, right? So I have some paper towels that I can use. So this is the whole setup right here. Right, the book and everything. So I've got a little table here. If I were sort of hiking or something like that, I can take a little tripod stool and work off of my lap because it's a book. It is sometimes easier if you have they have these like director chairs that are folding that you can carry over your shoulder type of thing, and they actually have a little table to the side with a little water, like a thing for your drink, so you can easily put your water in there, and that's pretty good too. All right, so I'll try and hold this up a little bit maybe so that you can see both. Maybe move this back a little bit. And I'm not sure what this camera is gonna, or what my phone is gonna focus on, but I'll do my best. So I'm going to take, maybe put this in front here so I can see it. And I'm going to take just some of the color that I've already got here, and it's really, really light. Really thin it down, sort of that I can make like a very light pencil mark, only I'll be making it with my brush. I'm very lucky that a few minutes ago it looked like rain, and now the sun is kind of coming out. So I'm fortunate for that. Now I like the reflection of this scene, so I'm going to use that reflection in the water. So I'm going to put my horizon a little above middle way, right about there. Sketch in my island. I don't know if I want to put it too smack in the middle, but I'll put it just slightly to one side maybe. And yeah, so I'm just going to sketch it in with my brush here. Very, very lightly. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty light, but I'm just sort of lightly putting it in there. And that's kind of taking the place of my pencil. Oh, there's my pencil. There's a little slot in the top. I knew I had it with me. Doesn't matter. I can work this way just fine. So I'll go into my paints here, and I'm just going to put in a sky. Now here's the thing. When you're doing plein air, don't worry too much about getting your wet wash, working wet in wet, and getting the paper really soaked and all of that kind of stuff. If you work sort of directly on the paper in a sketchbook or for plein air, you can keep working. The problem when you are wetting everything too much, first of all, it's going to wrinkle up your paper because it's not stretched or anything. Secondly, you're going to run into the problem of waiting for things to dry, and that's not always a good thing when you're trying to move along, because the light is changing. As I said a couple of minutes ago, it looked like it was going to rain. So first thing I want to do here is try and get the light. So I'm going to try and capture this light before it changes. So if I need softer lines, sorry if my hand's in the way here, but if I need softer lines, I'm going to just wet my brush, blot it, and soften it as I go. All right, so now I'm going to come into some of my greens. And the sun is shining, so this is going to be a little bit more of a yellowy green. So let's get a little bit of this made up. A little bit of yellowy green. But before I'm going to do the island first, I think. I'm going to work on this island, so I'm going to just come in here and get some of these trees in here the way the way I see them. This one's a little taller. And I'm really looking at the structure of the tree, you know, that those trees, you know, the arms sort of reach up to the sky. A little bit more over here, a little bit of a deciduous tree here. And I want to try to change up some of these colors here as well, because if I make everything look the same, it will look very static, very flat looking. I apologize, I cannot read the comments because, yeah, both hands are busy. The phone's on a tripod, but I will certainly look at these comments later and try to reply to you if I can. I don't think I can after it live ends, but if you put a comment in the comment section at the bottom of the live feed, then I should be able to give you some comments there. All right, so right where this touches the shore, it's going to be darker, and of course there's going to be darker shadows within there. And I'm kind of working, I'm putting this dark shadow into wet. I don't really mind all of this stuff blending together. My idea here is that I've got to work fast before the light changes. So I'm trying to get that in there. There's a lot of, there's just a little bit of a ripple in the paper, or not the paper, but in the water, and there's a lot of gray, kind of whitish sky right now. So a lot of this water is going to be kind of light paper. So I'm going to get a little bit of this water in here, and water, you can see it's not as blue as you might think. But I'm going to use the side of my brush here and see if I can create that sparkle on the water. Just by dragging my brush across, I can create that effect in the water. But it's using the side of my brush. And fairly dry paint, right? My brush is dry, so it's not putting a lot down on the paper. And I'm going to get that distant shore in there, and I want that to be a little bit cooler, a little bit like it's a little more distant. So it means that there's going to be a little bit more atmosphere in between. Sorry, my hand's probably right in the way. A little atmosphere in between, so it's going to be cooler and pushed back a little bit more. So I'm just going to simplify it, just block it in like a big shape. Trying to go as quick as I can, get it all in as one big shape. And here, let me see if I can turn this a little bit so that you can see it a little better without my hand in the way so much. There we go. There's kind of this, a lot of deciduous trees back here, so I won't make them too pointy. You can hear the kids playing across the lake. And I don't have to go right to the edges, I can leave that. And I need to get a little bit of color in the water. There's like, right now with the wind blowing, you can see that there's like a little bit of like a jet stream that's going through there. And, oops, that went into the wrong color there. Let's get a little bit more of this, let's get a little more green going. And a little bit of blue. So let's get some of this coming across. It's coming up on a little bit of a diagonal, so I'll just come through here with this on a fairly dry brush. So I've blotted my brush and coming through here, still getting a little bit of that ripple in the water, so I get that effect. But the thing I really want to get in here is the reflection of this island. I'm going to get into some of these darks. So I put in a light value. Now I can come and put a darker value. And I talked about this last week when I did my live, and I talked about thumbnails, putting in the light value and then putting in a darker value on top, and doing a little bit of negative painting and that sort of thing. Okay, I'll come in here. Get some of that tree in there. And in here, now the part below is where I really want to get some of this reflection happening. And with the wind changing and the light changing already, I have to go a little bit by memory here, but I had some ripples that were coming down like this. And I'm just going to do this quick because I am losing my light already. So when you work outside, you cannot make a mini masterpiece. You've got to work fast. Get the essentials down. That's the main part that you have to get down. So I'm going to come in now and get a little bit more color and stuff happening in the bottom, in the foreground. Come in here, get some of the wave happening in the water. Leave that back shore there pretty light there, or the water at the distance pretty light. Now I'm doing kind of a terrible job of this because I'm holding the book and I'm trying to work at an awkward angle and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to explain at least some of the process that I'm doing here. I do want to have maybe a little bit of a hint of what's happening back here in the distance, so I might indicate that, but I still don't want the distance to come forward too much, so I'm keeping it cool. There's a loon, and I'm just going to hint at some texture back here. And not really painting individual trees so much as I am just trying to create a little bit of texture. Really quick. In fact, I'm just going to use the side of my brush. Create some of that texture there. Just get it done quick. I'm going to get a little bit more ripple happening in this water. I'm going to darken this a little bit more. There's that loon. It's funny, I've been here for a couple of days and haven't heard the loon until just now, so that's kind of cool. Heard there was loons on this lake. Had a beautiful sunset last night. It's a great, gorgeous place. There we go. Get some of these ripples in the water. And my brush is really dry for some of this. I'm trying not to get my paper soaking wet when I'm trying to do this, because I like those little sparkles. That broken edge is really giving me sort of the motion in the water. So just dragging my brush is giving me that sparkly water type of effect. Painting with the side of your brush. Not everything with your brush needs to be with the tip, right? Anyway, so I might put a little bit more just wave action in the foreground. Let's make that a little bit more, maybe a little bit more blue. And when it comes to waves, the closer they are, of course, the larger they are. So not as broken up as what we see in the distance, but yeah, so not the most exciting plein air, but the idea is there. So I'm going to just set this down. I have no idea what that looked like to you guys. I'm sorry, my tech ability isn't up to par. You can see it's getting pretty cloudy now. You know, it kind of looks like we got a rain cloud coming. So I think I better probably wrap this up and let's see, turn this around. So thank you for joining me and tolerating my lack of tech ability here, but enjoy your week and we'll see you back in the studio next week, okay? Thanks so much. Take care. Bye. And I have no idea how to end. Here we go.